David Finn has gone from NBC's Undateable to pledging allegiance to the band in the West End School of Rock. Today we're at the New London Theatre to catch up with the stage and screen star. David Finn.
Hello.
Dewey Finn.
Yes.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, spelt differently though.
Spelled differently.
But yeah, maybe it was.
And although you're a Brit...
Irish.
Irish, sorry.
Kind of Brit, but...
Kind of Brit.
Yeah.
Speaking with that accent.
Yeah.
It is an American. Already corrected me twice, it's fine, beginning of the interview. But you are all American School of Rock, aren't you?
Yes, very much so. And I actually live in the States as well.
So comes
yeah.
very naturally to you. So let's talk about this. It's been had the most incredible reception School of Rock this week. 5-star reviews across the board.
Yeah.
Huge sort of big spread in the Evening Standard.
Yeah.
Are you on top of the world?
Which was actually the worst picture of me ever taken, by the way.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Were your friends like texting you and teasing you a bit?
They
bit of
took
abuse.
screenshots and then zoomed in, and they were like, "What is happening to your face there?" It was just a still at the end of the show, so I think I was just covered in sweat and just pulling a stupid face. But yeah, relief is the main feeling. Yeah. And then under that is hunger and joy.
Now,
yes.
Dewey Finn is an iconic role.
Yep.
Jack Black. And then, of course, Alex Brightman, Tony nominated in New York.
Yeah.
How did you go about putting your stamp on the role?
I avoided watching the film.
Okay.
But I did see Alex on Broadway.
You did see Alex.
But I think enough time elapsed between seeing Alex and starting rehearsals so that I didn't just do a carbon copy. But I also reading the script, I had my own ideas off the bat anyway.
There's a lot of improv in there, isn't there?
Yeah. Well. We found a lot of improv through the rehearsals, and then you have to just kind of tighten it for the show. You can't add too much because A, it throws the kids off, and B, it makes the show too long.
Talking about the kids, you're working with 39 kids. It's different from Broadway in the sense they have one cast of kids with a lot of swings.
Yeah.
Here it's 3 separate casts of kids. How has that been? Because it must be a different animal. The show must be a different animal depending on which set of kids are on.
It is, and sometimes kind of like little moments are different, and I think as a performer working with that can only be a good thing because it keeps you on your toes, and every night is different. And it's such a cliche for people to say that in theatre because people do a year or 2 years in shows and they're like, oh well no, every night is different. But it really is, because you're working with different actors every single night, and they all have their own little nuances and own little moments that you just have to react to. So it keeps it fresh and it keeps it interesting.
Have there been, this is a favourite question for everybody who watches Broadway.com, they love an onstage mishap.
Yep.
So talk me through any onstage mishaps, anything that the audiences wouldn't notice, but happened to you guys.
There was, I think it was on press night actually. There's a bit where I take my bag off, and one of the kids strikes the bag, takes the bag off. But in an earlier scene, I'm in the staff room at the school, and I steal a load of biscuits.
We remember the biscuit scene,
I filled my bag with biscuits. And the poor kid who had to strike my bag, he picked it up, and either I put it upside down on the floor or he picked it up the wrong way, but the biscuits just went all over.
Everywhere.
And and I'm supposed to be rocking out, and I had to then rock out around this kid who was scrambling around.
Biscuits.
And it was like that thing, you know, that comedy thing where someone's trying
Cookies, everybody, cookies.
Sorry.
Cookies.
Where someone's trying to kick a ball and they just keep chasing it. And it was like that, he'd pick one up and then another one would fall, and poor little bugger. Poor
little thing. Now this is a beast of a role.
Yep.
I apologise on behalf of my dad for doing this to you.
Yep.
It's a massive sing.
Yeah.
So you're now getting into the run. It's a marathon, not a sprint. How are you like looking after yourself to deal with it? Deal with the misery that my dad inflicted on you. Sorry, joke.
As we went through preparations into rehearsals, into the run, the list is growing of the things that I have to do. Or the realizations are dawning on me slowly. So there's certain foods to avoid. I have to do warm-ups, which is standard, and then a vigorous warm down as well afterwards vocally. Plenty of steaming. And there's certain moments in the show where I, to begin with, would just go too far and kind of push the voice too much. So there's certain moments that I'm still trying to find now where I can just pull back a little bit. And I actually spoke to Alex about this, and he said there's a few moments where, you know, it's kind of, you'll realise that you're shouting unnecessarily, and it's just kind of try and find those moments and pull off on those.
Have you got any dressing room rituals to get you in the zone?
I'm
Is there a soundtrack? Is there a Dewey soundtrack going on?
Yeah, I do listen to kind of, there's a load of, on YouTube, there's a load of AC/DC, Led Zeppelin mashups that I'm listening to at the moment. But I try and do things in a different order every night, because I know if I get into a routine, if something happens to disrupt that routine, then it will really affect me psychologically. It's really sad.
Are you enjoying leading a West End show? Because being a leading man, I mean, you're in a leading company, it's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a really interesting thing to think about, because it's the thing that you always dream of when you're kind of growing up and when you're a kid, or even when you go to drama school or whatever. But when you're doing it, you're kind of like, when do I feel like I'm living the dream? Because it's such a weird thing, because it's the dream thing to be doing, like playing the lead in an Imogen Lloyd Webber musical, but it's kind of it's such a surreal thing to be aware of that, and to kind of I don't think it's really hit me yet, to be honest. Talking
about dreams, do you have any dream roles? Is there something you'd love to do on Broadway? Would you love to do? Do you on Broadway? Is there anything that you'd love to do?
Yeah, I still fancy Book of Mormon.
Really?
Yeah.
Scott Rudin.
I met for it a couple of times, but it didn't work out. But I still fancy that, because it's phenomenal.
You'd be great in Mormon.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I still have to do that. Other than that, it's plays mainly. I'd love to do, when I'm older, All My Sons.
Okay.
Arthur Miller would be a good one. Streetcar Named Desire. A few Shakespeare's. I've got my.
A few Shakespeare's.
Yeah.
Your screen work. You've done a lot of screen work. I was reading an interview about you. You were talking about Geeks. Geeks know about you because you've done some incredible.
Yeah, I seem to have done the kind of the holy trinity of geeky shows.
Yeah. Which are
Game of Thrones, Sherlock, and Doctor Who.
It doesn't really get any better than that.
It doesn't, no, and that's geekdom at its best. So yeah, I've done those three, and I do some of those conventions. And
do you actually go?
Yeah, I've done a few of those. Yeah.
Amazing. And they sort of arrive because you're on like Game of Thrones Wikipedia, but it's not Game of Thronesopedia.
Right.
Your character and everything. Oh yeah, no, I was doing a deep dive when researching for you today.
Cool. I saw a great article in the Washington Post about all the people that have died on Game of Thrones, and I was on there, and they did a cartoon drawing of each one that had died.
You've made it!
I die by the credits, that's it. Everyone's like, oh my god, you're on Game of Thrones? I was like, yeah, but I die after 4 minutes, so.
Oh, but still,
yeah,
you know, that's cool. Impressive, and you're going to conventions.
Yeah.
And you're singing at conventions for School of Rock, so that's all good.
Yeah.
All good. As far as screen roles go, do you have anything that you would love to do on screen in your dream? You've spent quite a bit of time in Hollywood. Yeah,
I've been living out there for the last 3 years. I was on a show on NBC. Ultimately, I think the dream at the moment is to, because I write as well.
Yeah.
I write TV comedy. So ultimately, is to write and produce and be in my own show.
There you go.
And it's quite lofty. It's quite lofty aspirations.
No, these are good. It's good. Good to put it out there.
You know, look around.
Leading man.
Why not? Dream big.
I always like to bring it back to the show as the final question. Why do you think School of Rock speaks to people? It's worked as a film. It's worked on stage. What is it about School of Rock that makes people pledge allegiance to it?
I think ultimately. It's because at one point we were all children who felt like we didn't have much of a voice. We felt like we weren't listened to enough, and it's that, but it's also how music can just liberate you and set you free, and it's also funny. It's just funny. It's a really fun story, and there are bigger messages within it, but it's not to take itself too seriously.
David Finn, thank you very much.
Thank you.